All right, thank you. All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Take a moment for personal commitment or questions.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we'll do roll call and establish a quorum.
We are live streaming this meeting. We'll have to do voice roll call for attendance and also for all votes. Aaron is here, Ms. Lalou here, Ms. Batcher here, Ms. Candelaria Diaz here, Ms. Corone here, Ms. Cobb here, Mr. Connolly
Here.
Ms. Davila here, Ms. Doherty Trevi here, Mr. Border
Here.
Mr. Grishaber
Here.
Ms. Minor here, Mr. Pfeiffer
Here.
Ms. Kyle, Mr. Tran. Right, Ms. Kyle is absent. As of now. Right, we do have a quorum, so we can vote on.
All right, thank you. Before we move on to the agenda, I'd like to amend the agenda in two fashions. I'd like to move regular public participation up so that it takes place right before the reports. This is because it's going to be a long meeting, and if people have something they'd like to add for public comment, I'd like them to be able to do that at the beginning of the meeting. The other amendment I'd like to make is a public comment immediately after the budget report. It's going to be the annual budget presented by Principal Grishaber, and the CPS would like us to have a separate public comment for the budget after it's presented. So I'd like to move that we approve the budget with my suggested amendments, unless anyone else wants to comment or discuss those or have their own. Okay,
I'll second the motion.
all right.
So the motion is to approve the agenda with the movement of public participation to after department presentations, and then to add an additional public comments segment after presentation of the budget. Motion is proposed by Mr. Connolly, seconded by Mrs. Barron, and Mrs. Barron is in favor. Ms. Baloo? Yes. Ms. Butcher? Yes. Ms. Candelaria Diaz? Ms. Corone?
Yes.
Ms. Cobb?
Yes.
Mr. Connolly?
Yes.
Ms. Davila?
Yes.
Ms. Doherty Trevi?
Yes.
Mr. Border?
Yes.
Mr. Grishaber?
Yes.
Ms. Minor? Yes. Mr. Fletcher?
Yes.
Mr. Tran?
Yes.
All right, let's have it. Motion carries.
Thank you. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes from the previous meetings? We don't need any discussion. I'll move to approve them.
Davila, thank you. Right, Ms. Barron, yes. Ms. Baloo? Yes. Ms. Butcher? Yes. Ms. Candelaria Diaz? Ms. Corone? Yes. Ms. Cobb?
Yes.
Mr. Connolly?
Yes.
Davila? Yes. Ms. Doherty Trevi? Yes. Mr. Border?
Yes.
Mr. Grishaber?
Yes.
Ms. Minor? Yes. Mr. Fletcher?
Yes.
And Mr. Tran?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. All right, looks like department presentations will be next.
We don't have those.
Okay,
Because of the length of this meeting, we decided not to have those.
understood.
I don't think anybody's going to disagree.
All right. In that case, it is time for public comment. If anyone has public comment they'd like to share with us. Okay,
Okay, put it in the chat.
if they want to join
Okay.
online, they gotta let us know ahead of time. Ms. Sandoval, if you're trying to join with public comment, we prefer that happen in person on
No,
meetings. Okay, all right, thanks. All right. Then we can move on to the principal's report and all the items underneath that.
Okay. Let's see, did we have, okay, let me just do student spotlight real quick. I don't really have one. But I'm just going to call out Natalia a little bit because I've asked Natalia to be to put her name in as the CPS student representative on the LSC. I think she'd be a wonderful fit on that thing. She's, at one of the best schools in Chicago, one of the biggest schools. So I'm hoping that she gets on, but I'm just going to say good luck to Natalia and just kind of bragging on you a little bit. Thank you, Natalia.
Good job.
Yeah. Her mom's kind of cool too. All right, let me start with the state of the school. Can I go over here and do it? How do we do it?
Oh, yeah, for sure. However you want to do it, we'll put it on the screen.
It is both presentations, the state of the school and the budget are in the LSC folder. So take notes. Oh, okay, I'll just talk from the corner here. So normally, the last 8 years, I'd like to do the state of the school usually in May. But this year they kind of wanted it earlier. They wanted it like in December. And we were gonna do that, something that always came up. But I like doing it in May because it's actually, I have a reflection of the year. Yeah, 7 months in the books and we can actually talk about it. We're talking about last year's history. We're talking about this. So, this is the state of the school for 2023. Okay, as you know, we've got our rankings for the next 4 years, US News and World Report. The new one should be coming out any week next. I'm really looking forward to 5 years in a row. So the overview of what I'm going to talk about today, I'm going to make it as quick as we can, but also informative, and I'll take questions at the very end. Or if you want to, let's just do is you want to stop me, we don't have to go back on slides. Just say, Mr. Fisher, question, okay, I don't mind that at all. So we're going to go over the overview of staff, students, academics, athletic activities and facilities.
Before we go further, would you mind if I share the screen so people online can see this?
At all, no.
Okay, I just gotta get back on it.
Yeah.
Access from a CPS.
Okay, then I just go on and see if you access a viewer then.
I guess.
Okay.
If you click on it.
Sarah, can you do that? Can you go on, put those both, state of the school and the budget in the Taft LSC folder and give them viewing privileges, please? Yeah. Thank you so much. While we're waiting, you understand what it's like to be testing in a high school, all of our. Understand our vision and our mission statement, 7 simple words: educate global citizens, create a better world. I put down our boundaries. Sometimes people are surprised that our boundaries are so large. I mean, they go to Pulaski all the way past O'Hare up to Toohey or Howard, and then down to Addison. So our boundaries are huge. I was told that if we were any other high school, there'd be 4 high schools in our boundary right now. Everybody wants to, whenever they open up, they want to be in Taft's boundary, which is a good thing. 91% of our schools come from those boundaries. The other 90% are kids that are either in our NJROTC program that are out of the boundaries or our IB program. So that's kind of an important thing to know. Right now, Taft by the numbers, And again, I don't mean to sound condescending, but we have a lot of new LSC members. So I'm kind of going to go back some years to kind of give you a little bit of a reference on where we've been the last 9 years. So right now we have 42, pretty large. We were up at 43, 60, I believe. Yes, we're down about 70 students. A lot of those students, that happens every year. You get the number of students that come in, and then the attrition rate is after a while, kids start to transfer out. They go to Budsman, and we start to lose them, but then the numbers will bump up again. Our largest high school in Illinois, Evanston, and Stevenson is right up there too, right around 4,300. Second largest school and the fourth largest school district in the United States. We're the largest IB school in Illinois, fourth largest IB school in the world. And we love our IB. And Eric and Kenny are going to present at the World Conference again. You're a big deal if you get to be a presenter at Toronto this year. Taft is, I just put this in for fun. Taft is larger than the Illinois cities of Rosemont and Galena, Wisconsin cities of Wisconsin Dells, Tomahawk, and Hayward. Our sports teams have 37 different sports and 76 different teams. We have usually 90 clubs, anywhere from 70 to 110. Depending, some clubs take off a year, some are consistent, and 55 home languages. I'll put this in right now so I don't forget. We have our international night Friday night. It's one of our biggest nights of the year. I've been practicing for that in the hallways all year long. If anybody from the LSC wants to stop by in the daytime, they're going to have a daytime show all the periods. Stop on by and take a peek at that or stop by that night. This is our staff. So right now, our staff, right now, we have 253 people. We have 372 staff members altogether. Okay. You can go out and pull all the numbers right now, but the important numbers are 253. Our teachers already on this one. And our student is 16.8 to 1. A lot of people like to know that. Our student council rate is 385 to 1. Seems like a lot, but like I've said before, another rate is the Illinois council rate is 62 to 1. I've always, since I've been here, I'd like to be 400. That's where the insurers at. And like to insurers stand. It's a good school. We're a good school. So right now we can say under 400. I'm happy with that. Wish I could get to 250 like counseling association my system. We just can't do that right now. It's got to be with everybody. This is the plot I put together for everybody to kind of show you where we've been the last couple of years. And again, I got here in 2014 with my team. But you can see these are our hirarees. Our oldest retirees, 1991. And then it goes all the way to 2023. So far, we haven't hired that many people. But you can see the last 4 years in correlation to our freshman academy. So we were gaining 250 kids just about every year. And then since we've been here in 2014, you can kind of see the numbers go up. 2016, 2017 was a little bit rough. I didn't know why it bumped down in 2016. It's a ripple effect of the World Trade Center. There was always a definite population decrease, and we kind of noticed it in those first 2 years. So that's kind of interesting. I like the fact that I've been in the hiring crisis myself and my team of 238 adult staff. Students. Since 2014, increase. I know this year looks like it's down. Remember, this is not the today. Because at the end of the year like that, it would have been higher than that right now. But I think we're leveling off right now. I think we're always going to be right around anywhere between 50 and 43. And you guys are the best. And when you look at the demographics from like first grade to eighth grade, all of our feeder schools right now, they see property. A lot of our older property, they have been that way for a the influx we seem to be getting is our our EL department. We seem to be getting 2 or 3 EL kids every week, refugees, especially from Venezuela and from Ukraine. Demographics for our 4135, just a little bit older slide. Well, you can see right now it's Hispanic and white. The first year in our history that Hispanic is now the leading demographic in our building, but just a little percentage, but that's pretty indicative of the last 10 years. This slide is interesting because it's the EL and DL. You can see our population every year, but look at our EL and DL numbers. I mean, they're huge. We are at, I think, 14%, 11%. So it's going to be, if I present the budget later on, you're going to see some priority given to our EL students and our DL students, especially in TFS. But I wanted you to see the slide. Diverse learners and English language learners. So we got low income, 50.2%. We gained about 130 kids this year on free and reduced lunch. Diverse learners, 12.5%. Limited English, 14.8%. Diverse learners being 12.5% have been kind of consistent. I wonder if it might drop a little bit because as of last year or the year before, our selected enrollment schools in the district were mandated to get up to 12% because they were historically low at like 2 and 3% in the district. They're going to have to have more diverse learners in your schools. And so now they are kind of grabbing a lot of the diverse learners to meet that mandate. So it may go down a little bit, but as much as it goes down, that's how many more kids are out there. So I think those numbers are going to be steady. And again, our 55 home languages, which I think is amazing. Home languages, that's the language that's spoken at home. Again, anytime I can show kids. Academics. I like to show this slide. I think I've shown it a few other times. This is freshman on track. I think 5 years here, we could not get off that total school, that first one, over 86%. I mean, we tried everything. We tried, different tutoring. We tried raise the grade. We tried a whole bunch of other stuff. But this is directly, I believe, a correlation with the grading policy that we changed to a fair grading policy where there were equal grading bands in 2019. At the end of the year, we changed it going into the COVID year. So I'm not looking at the fact that it, like let's say diverse learners are a lot better than they used to be. We're at like 91% of diverse learners, which is the fourth line. And before it was under 60%. I'm not so much interested in that, although that's great. But the fact that when you look at all the blue lines going across, they're pretty much all the same. And that's what's impressive here is that whether or not you're an Asian student, diverse learner, white, Black, you're going to be pretty much the same on freshman on track. And that's why I think we're doing a good job here. This is an impressive stat. More of our Eagles met both benchmarks in the district and the nation. Okay, so our teachers are doing what we need to do here. Okay, something that we're doing here is working. Not so much, I'm not too impressed when we beat the district. I get that because we have, out of 104 high schools, 90 of them are probably not academically as us, and you only have select enrollment schools that are taking the higher level kids. But the fact that we're beating the nation, and I think that's the impressive part. So more Eagles met an evidence rate reading and writing. We beat the district, we beat the state, and we beat national. And then the average score of our Eagles of the SAT is higher than the district average and the national average. So I think those are impressive numbers coming from true neighborhood schools. So I'm really proud of that. And again, testament, you can't, contrary to you can't study for the SAT. You can, but it's everyday instruction from our teachers, our high quality teachers that have good professional development, that are trained to the highest, that have master's degrees, that take their teaching seriously. Everyday teaching, that's what raises that number. So that's important. Demographics of our grades. I did this here because it's pretty impressive when you look at B's or better, like the total numbers. Sometimes we concentrate on the kids that are having a hard time. The big numbers you need to look at is those 12th graders, the 1F and the 2Fs. We still have a culture here where seniors are like, Mr. G, I don't need that class to graduate. I'm not going to pass, so they don't show up for that. So I've got a couple of things we're going to talk about on how we can keep seniors motivated to pass all those grades, pass all their classes. They do have, if you listen to them like, Mr. G, I'm going to be a plumber. I just want my degree. I'm not going to college. I know you're pushing that on me. And I try to talk to them and they get in a couple of years, at least with a business degree. But some of our students are like, I just want to get my high school degree and move on. Thank you for what you've done. I don't need this class. I need to take my English and my math. And so, but we're going to see if maybe not next year, but the year after, we can do something with a work study to where if we have something. So I got Mr. Flores looking at the possibility of that. Maybe we need to get some of our seniors, out if really it's in their best interest to get them out of here at 11:30 and just have them do a work study that means showing up for their first periods, going home and all this other stuff. So we have to meet the kids where we're at. I wish I could just say, guys, pass on your classes. It's tough. I trust you. Go ahead.
I thought it was a work study.
There is, but it's not the level of where I would like all of our, like a lot of our seniors. I know it's a conversation for another thing, but the negative of it is that some of our kids that would normally be here and taking higher level classes like the AP and the dual enrollment, they may not, although I don't think we're gonna cannibalize that group because that group's really motivated. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna get the kids like I'm talking, gee, I would love to get out. Hey, tell us you got a job and you're gonna go to. The other good side is I think we could lower class sizes. If we can lower class sizes, that's always a plus. You can lower class sizes, especially our seniors. That's always good. So it's something that we're not promising as a whole. You know, when you solve one problem, 10 others appear. So it's going to be on the discussion. But I mean, I told the story that I've been there my first week and I had seniors. Now, Mr. G, seniors, you don't understand the seniors. We're only going to come a couple of times a day. So, but I can't seem to crack that in my head.
I didn't know we had a work study at night. My senior year, I was in work study at Wayne back when it was not a second when it was a really good program. So I'm curious what we have.
Eric, can you comment on our work study program?
We don't have them.
What is we had it last year with
We had it like pre-pandemic, so
Okay.
it was a connection with a CP coordinator.
Oh, that makes sense.
yeah, the problem is that it has to be a little looser because then they're supposed to meet with the employees and all this other stuff. And I just want to make it as easy as I can. You have a job, show me a pay stub, and we got to make it streamlined because I can't commit a lot of adults to the process. I just want to do so. It's under discussion. Let's move on. Athletics. I put this on, and people like, oh, we should hear always about athletics, and I get that. It's not just because I'm competitive, but these are some of the reasons why I like sports participation. So I had Mr. Kessler, our athletic director, brought up some numbers. You need to look at a semester GPA. If you're in sports on one of our sports teams, your GPA is 3.17. Okay, and not in sports 2.65. Contrary to popular belief, a lot of people, and I talk to them all the time at open houses, I'm an IB, I'm not going to be able to join sports. Wrong. We've got some 3-sport athletes that are in IB. You can do it. And when you're in a sport, it's just good all around. No F's, 91%. You know, they want to play. You got an F, you don't play. So it's a good nut. And then 83% attendance, 91%, another good one. Tardies per week, always good. And then unexcused absences. Okay, 6.65 and 7.5. So there's a reason why we run all of our kids in sports. So let's look at sports a little bit. 37 different sports teams, 37 varsity sports, 19 junior varsity, 8 sophomore, 12 freshmen, 76 separate sports teams. So that would be like football, varsity, junior varsity, freshman. And we're always open. I don't like cutting kids, so I'm always padding like JV teams and B teams and A teams. I'd rather have kids participate. I've seen some heartbreaking tears where they were the best kid at the school of 25 kids, and now you walk in with 1,000 and you're not even making the team. It could be a heartbreaker again. If we can get kids on team, it's all good. It's all good. This is identifying fall participation. So this is the actual sports participation. And you can see varsity and what they are with the blue down to those no cuts. But I want to have a couple of no cuts per semester because if you want to join a team and you want to be on that team, we have it on every semester. One of the other reasons that I'm showing you the sports participation is one of the positions I'm going to advocate for is a miscellaneous position that's actually going to help Mr. Kessler out and Mr. Elder. Right now we have Kessler as our athletic director. Mr. Elder is like an assistant, but we need one to help us out at the freshman academy. And don't forget, that's like a high school with 1,300 kids over there. And so we need someone over there to help with the busing and everything like that. But then we're also talking about having those 3 help us with a tutoring center that we may open up next year too. So this is fall, winter, same thing, a couple of no cuts, indoor track and wrestling, plenty of sports. It's always winter is always the least amount of sports. And then we have spring sports, lacrosse and rugby really don't cut anybody. Rugby's doing really good right now. They just beat, I think they were in another state, I think, and they beat somebody. Any idea, Ms. Snyder, what state they went to?
The kids were just
I know, and it's,
it was so funny.
Our girls are tough. Yeah. Serious, they are tough. And speedy too, so we're doing, that maybe, we might do some damage in the state championship. And then so that spring sports participation, you can see 37 winter is always down this. So that's participation. 508 in spring, 507 in the fall, and then of course winter 336. I put this on for sports Friday night lights. I know we have families here that are either veterans or first responders. So those we've shored those up for the year. It's always a big time here. We got people here that are buying tailgating spots, but please come out. It's really a nice event for our kids. And this year I've got I actually have one of our seniors that are going to make us our mascots because we can't find our mascots. So she's making them for us. So we're going to have a Howie and a Nelly. So two different Eagle mascots. Howard as in William Howard Taft, and Nelly was actually William Howard Taft's wife. We actually brought the cherry blossom trees to Washington. There's some cherry blossom trees you see out here. That's our little homage to Nellie Taft. So please, that's all on the website. Please come on out. Summer camps. As this is running right now, the Edison Park blog and the Powhatan blog. I also put it in the Natick paper. What's nice is those is it PVC? Am I saying that right? Whatever it's Q code. Yeah, we do that. It brings you right to all of them. Right now, I think we have about 700 kids enrolled in it. But now with the advertising blitz I just put out, we're going to get around 1,200, 1,400 kids in our summer camps. Still not where I want it to be. I want some more educational camps, and I don't want it to be all sports. I want drone camps. I want robotics camps. I want acting, stuff like that. I want a little bit for everything. So we're still working on that. Another one here, kids. Clubs that I just put this up on our website. You don't have to read all those things, but it's on our website. All of the different clubs we have. I take, that's our teachers too and our staff. People, oh, they're so crowded. Yeah, you know what crowdedness means? It means I have a lot of teachers and a lot of staff members. They can have a lot of clubs. So that's one of the benefits. I have a lot of people here. I put this slide in here. It's our NJROCC program that was down in Florida this year. You guys helped fund it. But I also want to remind everybody that we have a strong admin program, our IB program, our performing arts program just had 9 to 5, which was just about sold out every night. It's huge. You'll see that one of my asks in the budget is to have another drama teacher to support the hard work that the department's been doing. So we're just not academics and sports, and we have a little bit of everything. Our police and fire academy. So I mean, I like to say we are. Some schools might be like Gibson's, but we're punching the fade. We just have everything for everybody. Facilities, I put this in because this is important. That I think people would understand that a lot of what I do is and one of my favorite sayings is a society is great when men plant trees under which shade they'll never sit. And we're setting the tone for the future. One of the things that I noticed right away when I came on campus, that the campus was a little bit dilapidated in certain areas when I first came here. I rode the high wave of a $14 million, $7 or $8 million renovation of the science rooms and all the lockers and everything, which was nice. But also, I take pride in the fact that our campus is really starting to look good right now. We're looking at the Osaki Garden right out there. So I'll just tell you some of the facilities things we've done in the last 70 or 90 years and what we have planned. So this is a faculty upgrades, facility upgrades that CPS provided in the last 9 years. So they had the new lockers in the science rooms, varsity campus, stadium, that was huge, obviously. Freshman Academy, $73 million, the 2 new tennis courts. Again, we lost our tennis courts across the way. Alderman Napolitano was really influencing because he said, Mark, what about your tennis program? I go, my tennis program is gone if you move those things. And so he worked with CPS and the Park District to get us new tennis courts over here, which are phenomenal. PA system at the varsity campus, which now works really nice. And what's nice is, the last couple of years I've been taking some criticism from the kids, like, you need to announce these things, Mr. Dean. I'm like, I got radio silence from April till June. I can't say anything because we're testing. But now that they have the new PA system, I can press a button and it goes to everywhere except for the testing rooms, which is nice. So I like to make announcements because these kids like to hear that the rugby team, volleyball team, everybody's doing well. Rooftop units we had done, varsity campus parking lots, they really helped us we paid for some of them ourselves, but the big one was the driver's ed lot, which was like $200,000. We paid 100, they paid 100. Freshman campus path to the old park. These are facility upgrades that our alumni have donated. I get to the team in my principalship from working at St. Pat's all those years. You bring the alumni in here. We got those memory cabinets for $12,000. Veteran Memorial 32 we raised. Stadium lights, that was Len Winslow donated those lights, 300,000. The alumni clock, which really is the centerpiece for our quad out there, which I want the kids to use more often. Stadium bleachers, that's Len Winslow again, so we need more seating in there, which we did 38,000. And then we have a 9-hole putting green that's being approved as we speak. That's going to go next to the tennis courts, kind of towards the softball area. It's going to be 9 holes. We have a gentleman named Marty Paluga who won the Chick Evans scholarship and is really instrumental in getting us kids every year. We get 2 or 3 kids in Chick Evans. So he's donating $25,000 for that. It's going to cost 33, so we're putting in 8 to get this thing done. But the way I look at it, my golf team doesn't have to leave the campus every day to practice because half of what they do is either putting and chipping. So they'll have a putting green out there too. It can also be used by our PE department because the PE department probably at the beginning of the year or the end of the year can have a whole unit on golf where they can show them how to pitch, they can show them how to putt, and then we can get drivers and show them how to hit the balls, look at the plastic balls. So we're not pelting the neighbors or anything, but they can do a real good golf unit. And then finally, this is from internal accounts, what we've done. Every year, at the end of the year, we just talked about this, the PPLC, there's always some money left over in the budgets. What happens is an employee will retire and then they may cost us $150,000 on our book, say their salary is 110, and then you got $40,000 in benefits. But we hire someone that's $90,000 with salary and benefits. So that's $60,000 that I originally budgeted for 150 and now it's 90. So we get that back sometimes during the middle of the year. So at the end of the year, we usually have some money left over. This year we got about $150,000 or $175,000. So we're going to do some facility upgrades. I'm going to talk to you about that when we go over some other budget things. The new dance studio I thought was important. It was an idea I brought from Whitney on. We had a dance studio over there. We brought one here. It's really good. Multiple rooms have been expanded. Our fobs on all our doors. My daughter works over at Beard Elementary School. She told me that they don't have fobs, they're on their phones. So I got Mr. Levins working on them. Like, yeah, on their phones. Why can't we do that? So we're trying to figure that out. Concession stand, we're still trying to get, or no, this is the one that we had outside of the gymnasium. When I got here, it had plywood on it. It was like storage. Now, if you go to any of our games, Theoni is out there usually selling stuff, and it's just a really good thing. Offices at the varsity campus lunch, we're doing that now. That's being created. If you wanted to after the meeting, we have time, you want to walk up there, but we're going to create 70 offices because we need more offices up there. Main office, library, and forum, PE foyer washrooms, those were an eyesore. And those are used by most of our parents that come visit us. And like I said, I was a parent from another school and walked in that bathroom and would say, you are never coming to Taft because they were terrible. It was just terrible bathrooms. And now they're like beautiful bathrooms right now. So I always try to stress on high impact areas that like parents are going to see or visitors are going to see. Offices, case management on the other side, and then we're going to have 15 trees at the varsity campus. That should happen, I think, next week. Here is, I know it's hard to see, but if you look, you can see a lot of these dots, the X's. Wherever you see X's is where we're putting the trees. Okay, so we got a couple more there along Northcott, a couple in the quad area right now. Along here, we can make them, so it's going to be really nice to have a lot of trees here. Like I said before, I want the campus to look like a bowl of Fruit Loops in the fall, and these are going to be like nice maples that are going to flower real well. So we got that through. It was a really life initiative that I thought we were going to lose, but I think Town fought for us, so we are going to still get those. They want to do it sometime in the next couple of weeks, so you'll see them out there. This is our wish list that we're still going for. Cafeteria, washrooms. I got one bid. The boys' bathroom up there is terrible. I got a bid on that. Drinking fountains, I'll talk about that when I talk about budget. We still have that first floor boys locker room, which I would like to gut and do something with, but right now it's got the box lockers that it's just terrible in there. We just gotta gut it all out. Maybe we can make it a weight room, maybe we can make it some kind of a room. I mean, if I had my brothers, I'd like to put, 50 treadmills in there. Just have the kids for PE go on there, and you know what, you want an A, you got to do 5 miles this week. If you want a B, well, I don't know how they would do it, but I think treadmills for our kids or stationary bikes or something would be nice in there. Metal strips outside here to stop people that are. What's that? But my bowling alley, I make fun of that all the time, but if you go down in our basement, there's storage right there, and there's enough room for 2 lanes. I've measured it. And my goal is to have 2-lane bowling alley down there, that not only our bowling team could practice every day, but like our faculties can say, I have my kid's 5-year-old birthday party down, yeah, go down there and just, let's have fun with it. Like I said, there's 3 sports and clubs at Taft that have to leave the campus to practice. One of them is golf. They don't have to do that anymore because we're going to have that thing over there. One would be bowling, if I can get that done. I think that's going to be like $200,000. I'm trying to find some bowling alumni. It's going to give us some money. And the third one is fishing. And Scott knows I'm not having a lake out here, so they don't have to show. Drive. This has been an eyesore since I showed up here. The drivers at fencing, it's terrible. It's got like barbed wire over it. You probably don't notice it, but now that I said it, when you go by it, you're like, oh my God, yeah. And so I got a bid to take care of that with some of the funding that we have left over this year. A concession stand on our field over here would be really nice. Not just a concession stand, but so the kids don't have to keep hauling stuff back and forth. I think that could be a really good thing for us. I still want varsity campus, corner side sign monuments. I'd like one in Hurlbut and Natoma that actually says Taft High School, a really nice one, and one over at Bryn Mawr in Natoma that says that's Taft High School, because right now we're known as the You Are Beautiful School, which nobody knows what we are sometimes. Also, I don't have it listed down here, but Jim Jacobs Theater, I'm talking to Jim right now. I'm sending him the quotes on that, so maybe he can help us do that. If not, then he can give us something, because right now Reese is now making the rounds again, and he's got a steady income coming in. So he has said we'll talk with him when that happens. And the last thing is the baseball and softball backstops. I'm waiting on that. I'll be honest with you, I'm waiting for Jack, our Pittsburgh Pirate guy, to sign a really good contract. And I'll call him to Jack. And I'll give him back to the school, and so hopefully he can help us. That won't be too much money. So that's some of the wish list right there. Thank you. Do we have any questions on state of the school? Anything? That would be super if you don't. All right, I'll go right into the budget, okay? So here's our report budget. This is the one that we're going to have to be approved on. So it's going to be a yay or a nay or a dash stay, am I correct? On the budget. This budget is given to all principals. It used to happen in July. It would give us about a week and a half. Here in Wisconsin or wherever you're at. So the principals, they talked to everybody and said, okay, we're going to give it to you in March. This year was a little later than usual. We got it towards the end of April. And it basically, everybody holds their breath on the budget. We haven't really ever had to hold our breath on the budget because I knew every year we were going to go up students. And this is the first year we didn't go up students. We didn't go down, but I'm like, okay, party's over now. We're gonna get to reality. And so I was really kind of nervous about the budget, but I'm really happy. So go through and some of the highlights. And I'll go through our requisitions that we need in our budget trend. We'll do the budget first. Okay, so first off, we know this slide right here over and over again. So these are. That's what I mean. So this is the bottom line. Okay, last year we were given 28,442,000. Okay, this year we were given 29,755,000. So we did go up. The reason why we went up is because SBD is student-based budgeting, which we get a certain amount of money per kid. And I believe that money this year is 68.50 or something like that. So that went up a little bit. And also you get money for CIWP, which is your grade reduced. So every student that family who gets really reduced status when they apply for it in September and October, they don't have to pay. We still get their SPB, but they don't have to pay any student fees. They get reduced fees when they take tests and stuff like that. We went up about 130 kids like that, and we went up from $1,025 a kid on that to roughly about $1,060. So that number went up. So we went up $1.312 million. Looks good, right? What they didn't put in the budget, which the principals were really quick to acknowledge, is like, hey, where's the cost of living raises for everybody? And they're like, oh, that's in the other budget that is online. And we're like, that's not nice. You know, you're talking about 1.3, you know, and not being transparent, but hey, we're 600,000, so we're going to take that right off. So we have to take that off right now. That's cost of living, but we're still up 702,000. So still happy, still a good budget, okay? Here's what they also gave us, and when you look at this, what I want you to understand is every position they give us, think of it as $100,000 that we don't have to spend that they're going to give us. So they're giving us 2 new ID coordinators. Right now we have Irene as our DP coordinator. We have 2 MYP coordinators, Jeff and Sarah. They're giving us 2 more, which is huge. I believe, and again, we're the largest in Illinois, largest CDS by far. So they finally heard us, and our ID coordinators are overworked, so they're giving us 2 more. We're also getting an EL coordinator. Mr. Hylock, who's over IEL, is now going to get somebody else to help him. He's been working his butt off. So now they're finally listening to us. So we're getting an EL. Okay. We're doing an STLS. What's STLS? Students in temporary living conditions. Okay. We're getting a coordinator for that. You're going to pay for that to help us because more and more of our kids are becoming without a temporary living condition. Yeah, you're not living on the street, but you could have had financial difficulties. Say you didn't have insurance and you had an operation, but now you're living with your aunt or you're living with your grandma and you're like doubled up. That's considered temporary living conditions. Okay, so we're going to get a coordinator for that. We're also getting a new foundational clerk. Foundation positions are this at every high school. Every high school gets a principal, a counselor, and a clerk. Okay, we just happen to be really big. We have 2 campuses who are giving us a clerk. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. But we don't have to pay for that. We'll slightly decide someone in that position that I already doing. And we have a new position called the MTSS position. This is what I want you to take away from this presentation right now. I'm doubling down on our student health next year, our student well-being. I'm putting all the chips in the middle and making sure that we handle that next year. I think we've done a pretty good job, but not a good enough job. So when you see these positions like this, when I got EL, STLS, MTSS, those are 3 positions that's going to help our kids right away. And the fact that they're given to us, that's a wonderful thing that we're doing right now. This is what they gave us. So the numbers are reflected on top. Again, you'll get access to this. But I wanted to give you this in case any of you saw this. Because what's the scary part? What I jumped out and I see that is in the middle here where it says special ed. It says special ed cluster teachers 54, and we went to 48. And then paraprofessionals 23 to 18. Time out. We got them back. Okay. What they did was they're like, oh, you no longer have these seniors, so you don't need these teachers. And we're like, what about freshmen? Remember those people coming in? So Ms. Hess, in her grizzly bear ways, went at them, and so we got all those positions back again. So I wanted to say it just in case I have a special ed teacher that, these are public records. And say, I don't want any teacher at the dinner table talking to, am I losing my job? Do we gotta not going to, I don't want that. Everybody's got their job back right now. So I put it in there. We won the appeal and we restored it. And that was Ms. Hess. Again, a lot of what I talked about earlier are these positions reflected here. So position overview, this is what, Mark, what do you recommend we spend the $600,000? Okay, so these are the positions that I would like for next year. Okay, Mandarin teacher. We started it last year, we now are growing. Now we got kids that are needing Mandarin too. So we knew we would need this position, so we're going to hire a Mandarin teacher. We're hiring a film teacher. We have more and more kids signing up for IB. Mr. Flores, I don't have the number. How many kids are coming in as IB? What is it, 290 now?
around there.
Yeah, 290. Yeah, 290 kids. There was a time, I mean, remember, wasn't too long ago, there was one guy in 2006 that got the IB diploma. That guy was Ryan Lowitz. Okay, we are a long way from Ryan being the only one. We're now with many. So we need an IB film teacher. We just interviewed somebody from a wonderful school. This guy, I'm just telling you, he's fascinating. I talked with him. The interview was over and I was talking about movies. A really fascinating guy. He's firm and he's fair. I asked him what the kids think of. He's like, I'm hard, but the kids understand that I'm going to teach them. So it's really good on that. A new English language teacher position. The reason why I got this out a little bit, we're getting all the refugees that are coming here. We need one. Last year they funded it for us. This year they're not. But we're going to fund it. And then hopefully we get that money back because that's how we got it last year. We appealed it. We did get the position, but I wanted to highlight it a little bit. A new drama teacher at the freshman academy. Okay. If you see the play, it was unbelievable. And then I asked Mr. Wilson how many of those kids in the play actually took it at the freshman academy. And there was quite a number of few kids that did it. And one of the reasons why we took it out of here, it wasn't like a personality thing. It was more and more kids were signing up for art. And art it's one of our best departments and it was growing so much. It was actually kind of cannibalizing. All the kids wanted art, and I keep calling it silo curriculum. Not just that we don't have great teachers teaching it. Kids are having a hard time being with other kids. It seems like they're picking classes where it's just me. So what we're going to do is we also didn't have space for the drama teacher over there. I had found it out. That's my own club. I thought they were using the stage. I'm like, yeah, it's like stepping before. Why are they? And they're like, gee, they got the teachers are using all that. Like, oh, so he was basically relegated to a classroom trying to teach drama, which was not working. But right now we don't have a full-time band over there because we do have one band being taught because we do have kids coming in here that one band. So it's either 8th period or 1st period next year. And then we'll have the band teacher come back here. And the other 7 periods we can make the drama. It's big enough to have a stage there. So now we can actually have a facility over there. I think that's really important to get our kids in drama. School culture coordinator. Okay. We're going to have one on both campuses. Dr. Villado, we're going to hire another one. Okay. We have a face school over there with 1,300 kids that should not be operating with a conflict with a culture coordinator going there 1 day a week. That's again, my priority next year is MTSS and student health and well-being. Okay? They need one over there full time. It would be like any one of our schools, Sen, Mather, Lakeview, these schools with 1,200, 1,300 kids having a culture coordinator 1 day a week, it will work. And so they're doing a good job, but they're just outmanned. So we're going to have somebody over there too. So we're going to have at the freshman academy, we're going to have a culture coordinator, 2 conflict resolution specialists with 2 deans. Over here, conflict, 3 deans. Okay. And then a school assistant. This is for Mr. I showed you all the sports that we have involved here. We need someone to help out, Mr. Kessler and Mr. Elder. And so they're going to be the freshman academy. And the last one is we need a new assistant principal. Okay. I've held off the state for a couple of years. I've been burning out my APs and they don't complain. They'll drop me hints once in a while about it, but they're overwhelmed. To give you the numbers right now, in just our network 14, which is indicative of all other networks. I took out the low schools, like the one like 90 kids and 100 kids. I basically went with all the network schools, 14 schools over 1,000. The assistant principal to student ratio is 420 for every kid. Okay, 420 for every kid. We are above 700. Lane Tech is above 700. Okay, Mark, Lane's got 6. Why do you need one more than Lane? You're not 2 campuses. Okay, we lose the economies of scale when you have 2 campuses. You have assistant principals doing 2 things more than we can just have one of the student services. Now you got to have them, and you also have to do with the freshmen. Okay, this assistant principal new position is only going to be over MTSS. Period. And I'm going to tell you what we lacked at last year. Okay? And I'm just being really honest here. In November last year, we almost lost the school. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't know where I was working. I'm like, what the heck happened? I'm like, where did this come from? And the problem was when I diagnosed it is our need to be secure. So that's going to be his number one priority. Number two is facilities. We got to keep this thing up and running and stuff like that. So the one that was taken, that was least paid attention to was MTSS. And it's not anybody's fault. We got good workers. I've got great deans. I've got great culture people. I've got great counselors. I got behavioral health team. Nobody's talking to each other. Okay? That's where we're hurting right now. We need somebody over there. Okay? And like, why an assistant principal? I'll tell you why. And this is like the easiest, and I tell this when I used to teach at Concordia over Northeastern. I would say, this is like what an assistant principal does. If we had to move a house and I had 7 people in there, go move it would be kind of chaotic. Like, are you going to move the bedroom? Are you going to move the bedroom? Are you going to do this? Who's going to load the truck? I'll load the truck. When you have an assistant principal, they can kind of say, you got the bedroom, you got downstairs, you got upstairs. You're loading. Everything flows. Everybody's talking to you. Okay? This is the year right now that I'm not going back to November 2022 and the ripple effect happened. Okay? We threw a Hail Mary pass. Our teachers helped us out. We had the hallway sweeps. It was working. I'm not going back there again. And this is the insurance policy. This is for going forward. We need this position for just MTSS and for our kids. We can't. We're going to have our enough kids that are going to show up here and just want to walk around with it. We get that. But it's the good problem with these kids. We're going to get to these kids before there's no hope in these kids' eyes. Okay? So that's my last position on that. When we get that position, we'll go down to 600 for one assistant principal for 600. Still 200 more than the average, but still better than we were at. I told Dr. Lamone I'm doing this tomorrow. He should have had this 5 years ago. I said he wasn't the right time to find this. Now it is. Okay? I've been in my Eric's here. I'm working them like dogs. They really are. Every other assistant principal probably has 20 reach evaluations. My average ones are 40 or 45 for them, and that's not even with our supervisors. Yeah, again, they don't complain, but they're like, and so it's time. So I know that's the one that's going to be the most. And they're going to Mark, what are you doing here? We need that. Okay, go on. Questions.
First of all, you said we'll be doing, they will not be doing reach.
No, every assistant principal has to do reach. But their number one thing they're going to do is coordinating MTSS, working with both culture coordinator, all the deans, BHT, counselors. I have to have a message. That's like this is special ed, like Mr. Flores is the IB, like Jenny is the curriculum, like Kat is the facility, like I am the budget. Alexa is all about MTSS. That's from that. And right, Lois.
Will you, you explain a little bit, I know a lot of people are new and also don't work in CPS, the kind of what MTSS, like what all is included in MTSS, what is MTSS like?
Okay, Eric, you can chime in anytime you want to, because you're also in it too, but it's also 3 levels. It's like the level 1, level 2, level 3. Level 1 is like everything. Okay, level 2 is when you start to go on rotate wire or tennis. Level 3 is when you're off. Okay. 3 different levels there.
Yeah, I just want to see more of focus on student. So a couple years ago, we had freshman academy. It's first year. They're really just kind of taking all those pieces from our house meetings and the teachers know about students and really focusing on what supports these students need with the tier 2 and tier 3 to get them on track.
So who's all included, I mean, like as far as staff, who's a part of the MTS, like this behavioral health team?
Well, it would be a lot of people.
Well, so there is an
It's like
MTSS team already, so it's fine. So for that, they work with the attendant coordinators on there, our teachers on that team, so they maybe basis. Next year, we were also told that there's going to be more expectations from the board around MTSS, so using systems like Managing Minds, those types of district-wide systems and expectations. So with knowing all that, like, there's going to be a need.
Go ahead.
How many, sorry, right now, do we have 6?
We have 6.
And so this would be 7, 8.
This would be 7.
And I just have a question.
Sure.
I'm not, when you say that for every assistant principal, they're overseeing 600 kids?
Well, it's the ratio, that's kind of, it's called like ratio analysis.
Oh, so it's not straight math, because it would be like 400 kids then, right? If we have,
Just say 4,300 divided
oh,
by.
4,300, sorry. So it's like 600 kids. So how many counselors do we have?
Right now, we have 11 counselors.
11 counselors,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. But the ratios are similar. And to show you the other effect that people don't understand, and it's all about systems and supports. And like I said, when I leave Taft, you can judge my leadership on whether or not everything's in place. We just replaced them, everything's gonna be going. When one of our people, assistant principals leave, so somebody is, because we got the systems and supports in place. But I call it, what happened to us in October and November was something called negative productivity. When I was managing Jewel, this is how I would do it. If I got a cashier and they're doing real good, and I get a new cashier that's not real good, so I'll say, Alex, how much is avocados? So I'm like, what's the code for avocados? I'm doing zero productivity and I'm taking away from you. So that was happening with the fact that we had to call a timeout in November and say, guys, it's over. Any reach right now. Everybody is focusing on MTSS. Everybody's in the hallways. We are getting our school back again. So we basically shut down as a leadership team because we had to take care of the boat that was leaking. And so the fact that we're going to have somebody over that, I'm not going to have to draw away from this. All of our TCT stopped, everything stopped because all of our focus went into MTSS. I wasn't here for 9 years to lose the school in a month and a half. So that's why I'm really, really adamant about this position. Go ahead.
In a perfect world,
Yes.
how many students per assistant principal? What would be a good number?
7. I mean, I could say 10, but right now, but with 7, we can do 7. You know, I would like, I mean, I always say that assistant principals, to be honest, everybody works hard here. Nobody works harder than an assistant principal. They're less paid than some of our teachers here per hour.
But I
They
mean,
work a lot to get it.
in a perfect world, what would be, I mean, if you had your way and you know what I mean, what would be a good number for you to have with the size?
And if you're asking a perfect world and I'm dreaming right now,
Yeah.
what I would do is I would have more counselors, and we got that down to 250 first. I would lower our class size, so all of our class sizes were 25, and then I would say, let's have 8 or 9 assistant principals, so where we can really do. But those would have to be close. Well, I don't,
As far as that,
yeah. Anybody else? All right, like I said, you'll get it. You can all email me. I forgot to ask you this.
I have a question about your budget.
Sure.
Process. So the CPS did at the end of April, and then you as a principal have to turn all of this around in like a week,
10 days.
and because they have a deadline for the 4th or the today.
It's the 4th. Yeah, that's how we
have to
have.
have it submitted.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's, yeah.
Yeah. I know. So let's go over some other budget things I want to talk about. So I do have some budget transfers, or let's go over anything over 10,000. So we have a sheet in there. I have one for graduation lawn signs, 12,299. Those are our normal signs we give all of our seniors. It went up a little bit this year because now we have 1,000 seniors graduating. We will get this back when we get the seniors that pay their fees for graduation. I believe it's 110. I could be wrong. Anybody know? It's either 100, 110. So that's 12,299. Then I have another one for camera. We have 4,204. We have 3,000, about 100 kids on this campus, and 300 of them know exactly where we don't have any cameras. And it's a hot spot. They know door 7 up the stairs and that little archive right there. They know the stairwells and everything. We're going to shore that up with some cameras. We're going to get, I believe, 6 or 7 new cameras this year. That's 24,963. We'll shore up those things. I have one for grad night admission. This isn't costing us anything. This is the kids pay this $18,000. I believe that's this week, right? Friday night? Okay, good. Yeah. So that's $18,000. I have 2 on here that are not on there, but I was just given to them. And Mr. Charles was not here this week to add it on there. Which one am I missing this month? Anybody have any idea? The bus, we know the bus, yes. So I've got an April one here for Compass, which is 38,720. I know that's bigger than the other ones we've ever had. But again, spring is our biggest sport, 38,720. The other one, which I'm asking for, this is our estimated May one, okay? So I'm asking for you to approve it before it actually comes due, but he's got them all listed, what we're gonna have. It may be less, it may be more. But we can take care of that in June when we finally get it. But this one's gonna be 27,685.35. 27,685.35. That last one was 38,720.84. So I would like you to approve this May one, because it's a given that we're gonna have it. And in this way, it's already approved. I believe that we may have to come together sometime before the end of the year, maybe the next week or the week after. And I would like to just have an online meeting, because right now I have about $150,000 in the budget at the end of the year that I want to exhaust, and I've got some projects here that I'm still getting bid out. But I would like your approval on it. So I will let you know what those are. But again, I don't want to call us all together because we're all busy. I will if you want to, but I think we can do this with an online meeting. I could be wrong, but can we do a budget approval on an online meeting, Paul?
I don't think there's any restrictions on that.
So here's a couple, and I'm not sure where we're gonna go because I gotta see how all this pans out. One thing we really need are drinking fountains. We've got drinking fountains, from when Franklin Roosevelt was president. I mean, they're terrible. And we've only got a couple of them, and kids are walking around the school trying to find a good water fountain. So believe it or not, they're about $4,000 each. And so I got a bid here for 24,900. I'm hoping that that's gonna probably be our best one, because I had another bid for 25,000. So far, that's the best bid, but it's gonna be about $25,000 for drinking fountains. I have another one here that we're looking at, and this is what do we got here? No, that's nothing. This one I don't want to pay, but I have to. This is a big one, 98,728. This is to take care of our men's bathroom in the cafeteria. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's, I don't know what else to say. It needs to get gutted. And it's gotta be just like the bathrooms in the foyer of the gymnasium, where they're really nice tile and everything, but it's got paint and graffiti that was marked off. It's the worst room in this building. So that's the best bid we got right now. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to afford that one, but we gotta do something with that bathroom. Not too happy that's $98,000. And then I have the driver's ed fencing. So what I want to do is I want to tear down all that fencing over there in the barbed wire, and I want to and I got to get those, for some reason, the trees are intertwined with a fencing. I got to get a landscaper out there to take it out, but I want to get the same kind of fence we have around the tennis courts to have consistency. Let's say the black fence, but I think it's about 20 feet high to keep some consistency. No barbed wire or anything like that. So that right now is $42,000. And then I've got one here for the putting green, but again, it's gonna cost us $8,000, and then Mr. Kaluga is gonna give us $25,000. But again, it's over, I don't really have to get it approved by you because it's only $8,000 out of our budget, and I have to go over 10, but I'm just letting you know, he's gonna put the other 25 in. So, can I just, go ahead.
What about some sort of security around the putting green? You're gonna have everybody from the neighborhood there, tearing it off, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
curious.
I don't think it's gonna be, yeah, I thought about that. We're gonna put signs there, smile, you're on camera and stuff like that. And, you know, it's gonna be, I mean, we got people jumping our fence all the time over there, and they don't really, I know. I don't wanna put anything around it. It is what it is, yeah.
Yeah.
If it was gonna cost us $33,000, I'd probably say, you know what, I don't think that's a good investment. Let's do it somewhere else. It's costing us 8 and we get 25. I'm like, if the guy wants to pay for it, he wants to have a plaque out there. It says in memory of Chick Evans for all you do. So it's his little homage. He was a golfer back in the day. So, but a good point though, Dean. Any other questions?
I was curious about the bathroom that's 98,000, is that That's the student bathroom
Yeah.
in the lunchroom.
Yeah, the men's bathroom.
What would be the accompanying plan to make sure that they? I mean, no, that's really, yeah, I mean, the reason it looks the way that it does is because of how it's been treated, and while I am actually a believer that something is improved, that they will treat it better,
I do too.
but better maybe
Yeah.
doesn't equal like great.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's gonna be a lot of security right now. Right now, the way it is, unfortunately, we've had the bathroom issue all year long. But we've hired more security officers. So right now, if the bathroom is open, it has a security officer in it. But what we're changing is, and I told Pat, what happens is the security officers kind of sit outside and form the line, and I'll walk by them and I'll see 3 kids bathing. I'm like, guys, what are you doing? So we are changing that to where I'm like, Pat, I want them to peek in every minute. If you're gonna stay there, just stay here. Because I originally said, Pat, I want him in the bathroom right here so you can see both ways. He's like, Mark, that's not a good policy, and I don't even know if they could do that. And I say, okay, then every minute, what I want is they can stand out here and say, stay right here. Let's go, guys, hurry up. That's what I want. And then we're gonna increase that presence right there so the kids know that. But I'm with you. If you look at the 2 bathrooms down by the foyer, they're beautiful bathrooms. And they haven't been ruined at all in like 6 years. So I'm like you, when they're nicer, it's like the one thing with a factory, when you break one window, then they're all gonna get broken. Go ahead.
So I have a question about security.
Yeah.
Do they come from CPS, like hired from CPS, or are you thinking them to maybe hiring and offering?
We hired them on those foundations, that one sheet that you'll see on there, they give us 9 positions. Not equitable in my mind, because what happens is they give security positions based on square footage in a building. Now, if you're, understand, I'm the outlier here. I'm the like, well, I got more kids than my security. I should have 18 of these people. But you have other schools where it's going down and they'll still want the square footage because that doesn't change. I want it by enrollment. They all want it by square footage because it's beneficial to them. So I get I'm outnumbered. But in the meantime, the fact that we have so many people, there is like an economies of scale where we do make more money so I can afford the security. So I get it on our upfront, but we hire, I think we have 18 security officers. Yeah, and we are finally at full staff, because a lot of what happened in November of 2022 is, I lost a dean, I lost a conflict person, I was down 5 security officers, we were on fumes, and so it was like the coming of a storm. But we're not ever going to get there again, because I'm going to always have security officers, and that's one of the reasons. I mean, Pat is not paying attention to MTSS and coordinating all this stuff because he's hiring. He's constantly interviewing people. They come here and they work a week and they quit. And it's like, what are we doing here? So it was really tough to get it. So any other questions? Yeah. Go ahead.
The security thing as well, we have to go through a CPS system. They have to like live in the city, like we can't just hire people. They have to come through the system, and then we're all the way out in the corners, and then a lot of people come through, want to be here, and then they're like, this is too far. And like you said, that's wasting a lot of their time. And I also feel like we're a giant school. Like I feel like we have 2 campuses. I feel some CPS somehow needs to make some concessions to have more security officers for us. Whether that means opening it up to a little bit of the surrounding area that's not Chicago, but is still profound. I mean, I don't know what the answer is, and I don't think, I'm not working at CPS. You know what I mean? I don't know how it resolves for that, but I think we had. Yeah, I think we need more. We're finally full staff, but I think we need more.
Yeah.
I think I read something a few years ago about certain employment programs that CPS has, and it may just be that this was like a second chance reentry program with CPS, and I don't remember if they were going to like maintenance or like janitorial stuff or security. So I don't know, maybe you're just not getting the best quality, like CPS isn't providing the best quality of candidates.
Well, that's like what happens with janitorial staff. It's a CPS wide contract. So we don't, and it's the people giving the least, the lowest budget.
Right.
So they're not, so they're
That's why
the
that's
staff is getting paid nothing. and asking to do a lot. And then people get mad at staff, but it's really not staff's fault. You know, so we also had it last year, we had a lot, we didn't have a full janitorial staff either.
Is
And
there,
it's also, I'm sorry, Paul. Also the nature of the job too. It's not the highest paying job in the world. And don't forget, it's only 38 weeks. So then people are like, I mean, I don't have a job in the summer. I get 2 months off. So, yeah, so they're not, it's not like a highly, you know, they're not really wanting that job. They're only 10 months a year. But
is there, so like the 98 grand, is that just basically like redoing the stuff that's in the bathroom, or is it a redesign all of the bathroom?
it's taking all the tiles off the floor. The only thing it's not doing is they're gonna power wash the floor. You know, I was hoping that would be in there to look at it. Dean, I'll have you look at the quote. Yeah, and all the quotes, I'll let you look at them.
The bid still.
Yeah.
The other question I had was like, being at some of the other, like, schools and stuff, some of the bathrooms have a different design. This is an older building, so that there's doors and they just lock. But some of the other bathrooms that may have more of an open entrance where you go around a corner, so there's still privacy, but it's open.
Yeah.
You know, do you suspect that the kids being able to go behind a closed door allows them to feel more liberty to do whatever they might
Well, there are no
do?
closed doors. We took all the doors off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that was like, when I first got here, I'm like, this is like the best alarm system in the world. And everybody's putting their cigarettes away. Remember back in the day with cigarettes? So now we just took away the doors. You can't look in there and see anybody, but I can sneak in there and just catch somebody right away. If anybody is doubting, like, that is like hesitant on that 98,000, I will go up there after this meeting and show you that, and you will take one step in and go, pay it, Mr. G. Everybody's allowed in there except Mr. Nettie.
I'm not doubting the 98,000. I just wanted to know if we could use that money to like Ms. DT was saying, prevent future, if there was
Yeah.
some way.
The bottom line is, if the kid really wants to vape, they can go in the stall and, you know, and you could see the smoke and you tell them, and I don't have anything on me and I can't search them, and, you know.
And also, it's guaranteed advance for the sake of 25 years. For a long time, guaranteed is a thing. But also, as they come off, another big expense is coming up to be ADA accommodation. That's where the big money is.
Well, see, it's not, we're not doing that. We're doing, because I found this out when we did the bathrooms in the foyer. It's not brand new bathrooms, it's renovation. When you do renovation, you don't have to do the ADA. We're still gonna have a bigger one in there like we
Right.
do, but when you go with that, it would be like triple the amount. And we're like, no, just renovate it, but make sure we have room in there for someone with a handicap.
Right.
Yeah,
Are we still gonna put artwork and stuff, student artwork, is that a thing?
I'm not opposed to it, just don't have the bandwidth right now to do it.
Is that the, after the budget stuff?
That's the end. The only thing I was gonna say is, I know I gave you that, but what we should really talk about is my current expenses. And if we can get that May taken care of. If you don't want to, I'm fine with not taking care of that, but that would be like, if you want to just vote on these that we have and then vote on that one separately, whatever you want. I'd like to get the May ready to go, so, because we are gonna pay it. So however you want to do that.
Yeah, I just want to understand how this is separated out, like our April one versus the May one versus the 2024 budget, because you were talking about drinking fountain numbers, the men's bathroom, the drivers had fencing, all.
That's not even in.
Left over.
Okay, yeah, no, that, so I just want to know, like, when we go, like, I just want to understand where this. is going.
The sheet that you have right there, the only thing I'm adding on it is the two compass,
Okay.
the two compass transportations, one for April and one for May.
Okay.
And all the other stuff I talked about is stuff that I want to eventually have, and we'll have another quick meeting where I can talk about this. We have 142 left. This is what I've decided to pay.
So did I miss the 10,000? That's the first line.
That's just, I did the same thing you did. That's the line that says anything over 10,000. It's not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Because I searched, Mr. Charles, where's the $10,000 one? Yeah,
So, and then the 8,615 foot transfer is for athletic supplies?
yeah.
Okay,
Anytime we have a transfer in any of the budgets, we have to, I'll get your approval too.
thank you.
You're welcome.
So do we want to do this as, budget transfers as a vote, then invite public participation for the budget and then vote on the budget?
I was gonna invite public participation for the annual budget.
Mhm.
And then we can do our votes on all the budgets
Thank you,
items.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Does anyone have public comment on the annual budget that's presented by Principal Grisham? All right. I'm gonna move that we vote on the budget as presented by Principal Grishaber. This vote is either yes, no, or abstain, as Principal Grishaber mentioned
So for the
earlier.
2024 year.
Yeah,
that's what-
yeah, this is the annual budget. Yeah.
Can I public comments?
Yeah.
And I appreciate the fact that you gotta get this done in 10 days, and I know you do, I mean, I've been at my son's middle school since 10th grade, he's a junior now. I have absolutely no problem with any of that. I don't think, however, that CPS gives us enough time as LSC members to do this properly, to be able to understand it, think about the other things that maybe, you're not seeing that somebody else is seeing. I just feel like and we're such a huge school. I just really think that this process has to change. It's not, there's nothing to do with
I don't
you.
have.
That's a CPS thing. And so I just want to say that for the record, I know that there's other LSCs, other LSC members that are trying to get that to change as well. I don't really know. I mean, I don't CPS, I don't know.
Alex, I do every year, and the principals bring this up every year. Every year, we do 5 essentials. Does the principals share and elicit participation with the budget? And it's like, I always get dinged like, no. I'm like, well, yeah, how am I gonna do that? So I get all that. I do.
Yeah, no, that's not a you thing.
Yeah, I know. I don't
That's
think it is.
a bad thing. It's not a
Yeah.
personal thing.
I get it.
Thank you, Jill. And I will also ask that to say, yes, I signed on along with 160 other LSC members representing 80 other schools in a group letter to CPS last
Mhm.
week, petitioning for this budget deadline to be extended to the
Right.
end of May.
Right.
But there has not been a response from CPS, obviously.
And
So,
then
but
We're gonna see how many pass
The
first.
time compression
Tomorrow.
is absolutely, does not allow for thoughtful consideration.
I signed that too.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, so when I just don't, because I want CPS to pay attention, this is nothing to do with you or
I don't
Taft.
take it like
I
that.
I will be abstaining though, because I want
I got it.
CPS. That's for CPS.
I understand.
So
Yeah,
that's,
because I'm not a principal if I got, I don't know.
So the motion on the table is to approve the school year 23-24 budget as presented by Mr. Pepper, by Mr. Conley, the no second. The board seconds. All right. Mrs. Barron, yes. Ms. Baloo? Yes. Ms. Butcher? Yes. Ms. Conway, yes. Ms. Cologne? Yes. Ms. Cobb?
Yes.
Mr. Connolly?
Yes.
Ms. Davila, you abstain?
Yeah.
Ms. Doherty Treving?
Yeah.
Mr. Gorder?
Yes.
Principal Gershaver?
Yes,
Mr. Clemser?
Yes.
And I believe our student representatives are not voting members of the
No.
budget. So that's why I didn't- All right, well, the motion carries with the one abstention.
Can you tell me the number of yes votes?
11.
So that's a total of 12 votes.
Yes. or 11.
Oh, and there was one absentee. Oh, no, it's a student.
Yeah, the student.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Budget passes.
okay.
Back to you, right?
And then is there a follow-up motion for the?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
What was the total for the compass? So I can write it
The
down.
2 compasses were, for April, it was 38,720 and 84 cents. In May, it was 27,685 and 35 cents.
All right. So I'll motion to approve the the budget requests for Sir Speedy, Pace Systems, Six Flags, and the Compass.
Second. Okay, so the motion is to approve the transfers as proposed with the addition of the 2 compass charges brought by Mr. Connolly, second by Mrs. Barrett. Mrs. Barrett, yes. Ms. Baloo?
Yes.
Ms. Butcher?
yes.
Ms. Candelaria, yes. Ms. Corone?
This is for the April.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Ms. Cobb?
Yes.
Mr. Connolly?
Yes.
Sevilla? Yeah. Ms. Doherty Treving? Yeah. Mr. Border?
Yes.
Mr. Grishaber?
Yes,
And this is another budget item. Mr. Clemser?
Yes.
Um, I don't believe our student reps.
No budgets.
So that is why I did not call your name. Motion carries.
All right. The May,
May is separate or what?
yeah.
Okay.
So the May item,
Was May included in that vote?
It was.
Yeah.
oh, was it? Oh, all right. Hope everyone was okay with that.
While we're doing that, I'm actually tired of hearing myself talk, but I'm gonna do this principal report real quick. Can I do it real quick? Okay, principal report real quick. We completed the budget. We hosted a team from Schenectady, New York, that came to Taft, and I always said that we know we're a great school when other schools visit us to find out what we're doing. And so we had this really nice team that came out from Schenectady, New York. That is also opening the freshman academy, and they'd heard about us, and their demographics are the same. So we spent a morning talking session to them. We presented and we voted on the assessment calendar, 81%. Bridget, I think that was the best we ever had. It's usually going down to the wire. So the reason why it was almost unanimous is we took out the fall PSAT testing for the simple fact it wasn't giving us the bang for the buck that we used to do. We used to say one of the reasons why we would use it is because a lot of kids aren't used to taking those tests. Now they're going to be on computers, and most kids are going on both via CPS, so they understand how to use computers right now. So it wasn't the best test for us, and anytime we can not take a test that's not good, we're not going to do it. So we took that off, and I think everybody liked that. We administered the SAT to 967 juniors and 12 seniors, administered the PSAT to 1804. Right now, we are in the middle of testing, so you see all these tables here. This is going to be our IB testing and AP testing. We conducted our end of year network walk at the freshman academy. They were all really impressed at the freshman academy. Climate and culture, they held the safety and security meetings. Summer camp offerings, I talked about that already. We had our first annual spring door decorating contest at the freshman academy. Miss Munoz won. Here, Miss Alunin won the big trophy, and she then proceeded to walk down to Miss Theoni's room and flaunt it in front of her and laugh, and it was really kind of a cool thing. But they're going to get a ice cream party along with Theoni, because Theoni took second place. That was a fun thing. Post-secondary Spirit Week. It was a really big event. We had kids announcing what colors they were wearing, going to. We had about 8 food trucks out there. It was so good that we're going to make it an annual event right here. It was really, really good.
I just say I
Go ahead.
volunteered at that.
Yeah.
And that was so impressive. I'm so excited to see
Yeah.
the kids were really enjoyed it. And, having such a big event and having just so many kids and having it
Yeah.
be so positive was really, I was happy to be there.
Yeah, it was really a good thing. And then we administered SRO surveys to parents, teachers, and students. Again, I think we have to vote on that soon. But I think, do you have the exact numbers on the surveys, and you'll go over that?
I do have
Okay.
information, and so I'll go.
Okay, you'll go over that. Okay, we started interview. We're gonna have about 15 positions open next year. We started interviewing for them. I wanted to welcome Kiana Wiley Ruffin. She is Melissa Hess's TA. There's normally a temporary assigned teacher. There's a TAAP. So while Melissa's out, she's helping us out at the Freshman Academy, doing a good job. She's new at this, but she's doing really well. We also have a guy over there named Mr. Rogers, Brian Rogers. He was at Amundsen High School for a long time as an assistant principal, and then he went over to World Language Academy in Little Village. He is our he's going to help out with when Ryan's out, but we're going to keep him over there right now. He was principal for a few years. He's really good, and he's helping us out a lot. So I wanted to welcome him. Also, happy 0th birthday to Elid Beckham Hess was born. So congratulations, Miss Hess. We're waiting for Kevin to have a brother or a sister in the next couple of weeks, so we're looking forward to that, Mr. Glowicz. Also, I'll just put it on there. I haven't really said much, but there's going to be a book coming out in December. Some professors at Northeastern are writing this book on 4 educational leaders. And they chose me to be one of those leaders. So I kind of feel kind of cool to do that. So just put that plug out there for that book. International Fest is coming up this week. Please stop by. It's really a good event if you want to see all of our kids at their best. Prom is at the Rosemont. It's going to be fun. Senior graduation, Mr. Glowitz and Mr. Levins went there today. Said it's an awesome site. I'm letting everybody know what senior parent plan an extra hour to get down there. Kennedy is not good right now. I would actually say maybe take Austin or Nagel down to the other way, but it's on Memorial Day weekend, which shouldn't be too bad. But still, give yourself enough time to go down there. It's going to be a good event. And then 8th grade graduation, 6 p.m. and I'm done talking. Any questions? I'm hoarse. Yeah, I'm done. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Next up, the chair report. I don't have anything to add. Got committee reports. Okay. The PPLC.
Yeah, we have that. Everybody is. I'm happy to come out. Thank you. We're not gonna read this entire thing to you because it's quite in depth, but the PPLC met yesterday. One thing that we wanted to highlight, one of our recommendations was to adopt and implement a Taft tutoring center. It was a proposal by 2 teachers. We really put a lot of time and effort for office with Mr. Gersham yesterday. This is something that would require some budget, money involved, facilities are involved, and it's a great deal of related item, but, so, we're pretty excited about this idea. We'll see it. I think it sort of fits in with the focus of MTSS.
Right.
All right, thank you. All right, facilities.
No,
All right.
I don't think we did. We went over that. Yeah, everything in there.
All right, BAC
Nothing.
and safety and security.
Hi, so we were supposed to have scheduled to go live with everything else we're doing tonight. We're supposed to have Dr. Bellotta here to go over the local safety plan. She had a conflict and I talked to Mr. Connolly about moving the votes from tonight because she just sent out, we just met last week on the 26th. To go over this, and so nobody's seen it. Everybody should view it before they vote on it. That's my feeling. I believe Mr. Connolly emailed it out today, as soon after I received it at like 4 o'clock. But I do, and there's a lot of good information there. I'll go over some of it briefly, but I know the thing that everybody is always interested in is that, like, for this is the SROs. Overwhelmingly, the staff, the parents, and the students voted to keep all 4 SROs. That wasn't a big discussion at all. The staff is 79%, the parents 96.4%, the students 83.7%. There was nothing overwhelming comments that people left. But what we did discuss was, when we sent out the survey, to either beforehand have either some meetings, or in the survey at the beginning of, to have a good explanation of what the SRO roles are, who pays for what, CPS versus, CP. What happens if we get rid of an SRO? What do we get from CPS? Does that mean we'll get that every year from CPS? Like, to give a better understanding of what that means to retain SROs versus getting rid of SROs. So we felt like maybe that there wasn't enough education for people, people were taking a survey of what it means to retain, to let go of us. The biggest incident when we went over things that were happening at the school, the biggest thing was incidents happening in the hallway. That was the overwhelming thing. We talked about the need for not only a full security staff, but asking for more security because we're 2 campuses, we have a large school, but that is a CPS thing. That's not a Taft thing. And I'll keep that on Dr. Bellotta's plate to see if there's anything we can do as the LSC and or she can do to try to get more security here. I do think things that we implemented, like
Mr. G talked about before, and in our previous safety and security meetings, having people out there sweeping and doing those things was a good, just like short-term interim thing to get people out of the hallway, but that was the biggest area of issue. But go ahead and go through this. Is the way it's written is CPS gives you a structure of how to follow, creating a whole school safety plan. So you'll see there's a whole bunch of stuff on here that did not come from Taft, like this, make sure you talk about this. What is your question here about, all those kinds of things. And then you'll see that the stuff that's typed in is what we discussed. So just to let you know, our Taft whole school safety vision statement is that Taft High School will foster a positive climate where students and staff on both campuses feel safe, both physically and emotionally, and also feel welcome, supported, and respected by others. So that was our vision statement. And then we had a few points. But please go and look at the email that you were sent today so you can review it. I will talk to Dr. Lana, if, to come and present at the next LSC, or to come if we're making a special one. Because I think when the next LSC meeting is.
Actually, this week, we rescheduled the regular. meeting.
Okay.
But did you say we needed to meet the next couple of weeks anyway? I think so. If I gotta have some input on those capital expenditures by the end of the year, so I think we can do it virtually.
No, we can't.
We can't do it. Okay.
After
May,
May,
after the 12th.
after May 12th, there are no more virtual meetings.
There's no, oh, okay. Well, maybe I can do it by May 12th.
So what we'll do is then we're having a special meeting. We have to decide when that is. We'll have Dr. Black come and then we can vote to approve that whole school safety plan. And I assume by that time, everyone will have read it. And if they have any issues with it, then we can discuss before we vote the next.
Yeah, and I'm not being funny. I really think it will be before the 12th because I need to get these rolling.
Okay.
Because we have to spend that money before they take it away. So it will most likely be before the 12th.
All right, if we, then in that case, I mean, if we can get it done before the 12th, then do it virtually, but
Yes.
after the 12th, we want to be in person.
If I could just add one more thing to the safety and security. I think one of the suggestions is next year, we also have the survey in Spanish and possibly Polish and Arabic. So all of our families would be a little more exclusive on their input.
Does anybody have any questions?
I agree with you. I think if we're gonna meet again before, wait a minute.
We don't need to take a vote on taking a vote later, right? We just don't vote.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I think if today's before the meeting ends, we're gonna have to schedule.
We should schedule them
Yeah, 'cause
if
I think
do you
can
know for sure when you'll be able to do it?
You want to just right now plan for next Tuesday night, a virtual one?
Anyone opposed to that?
Make it real quick, 6:30 to 7.
You guys too?
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Well, that's probably works out really well.
Yeah.
I can be able to,
You won't?
no,
Okay.
I mean, you might put up. I'm with the 7th grader.
Bridget, I'll go over with the numbers, what I'll present that night to you. I'll pop by the freshman academy and talk to you about it, okay?
All right, so
Alex, right?
Yeah.
It's a good question. Who oversees the security at night? We were at a soccer game last week, we crowd, and two security guards, missed out, they were sitting in the back of the car with the trunk open, sitting on the people walking, they were out, checking the stand, walking around.
Our security guards were in their car with the trunk open.
Yeah, it's like an SUV with a little, they'll be able to.
What day was this?
What soccer game was it? It was missed out. Maybe it was senior, it was one of them. I'll find out when I get back home, but, and wasn't the park, I was right in the very front, they were sitting.
Was it the senior night when you were out there?
It may have been.
I'll find out. I'll
Was
find
it
out.
raining?
Wasn't listening, whatever, there's a mistake.
We're supposed to have somebody every
There
night.
were two people at the gate for senior night, they were sitting, walking around, not walking around.
It's Monday night.
When it was a little misty out, ratings, kind of cracking next to my legs, and they were just
Yeah,
sitting,
they're supposed to have one in the stands and one at the gate.
they were both sitting in the
Yeah.
front of their car,
Yeah,
so.
that's not supposed to happen.
Thanks.
They
Okay,
look
thanks.
good with other people, we have big crowds for that,
I know we do. Yeah,
so.
we'll get on that.
I'm available on the night.
All right,
It'll be fine for me. Yeah.
all right.
We'll get it all
Sounds
short.
like we're good. Okay, we'll schedule for
Yes.
Well, Dr. Blatt would also
Yeah, she can do next week.
Okay. All right, thanks, everybody. Yeah. Anything from the Student Voice Committee?
That's the CNP. So, but just tomorrow we are having freshman tour, so people from like freshman academy are gonna come over. They signed up and they can honestly like just come and they're gonna walk around the school and see it. So they have like another opportunity to see the school next school year. And also, I mean, this is our student voice committee, but we are having like a little like end of the year party. A lot of people are taking your IB testing and stuff like that. I think it'd be nice for you to have the opportunity to go and like have some cake or something after school one day. Really quick and like talk to a couple of friends and stuff. So we're gonna be doing that. Probably like the next week.
How many members on the team now?
For student voice committee.
Yeah,
It kind of fluctuates a little bit because a lot of people do sports, but I would say we have a good like
okay,
There's over 20.
okay,
Yeah.
good,
They're
good.
in track and field and at play.
Yeah, okay, good.
Ms. Meyer, how will this tour that the Student Voice Committee is doing while school's in session, maybe inform the sophomore,
It's after school.
right, so just this, but after school, but so freshman parents received an email about kind of the sophomore orientation
Yeah.
opportunities over the summer, so how will you be assisting with those based on like what you learned about what the students liked about these tours, or, you know?
I think that's something
Curious.
separate. Software, so we have, how we have freshman connection,
Guys,
also
sophomore
sophomore
connection.
connection.
The
Yeah.
sophomore connection kind of seems
Yeah.
similar.
It is.
Mhm.
There's also, yeah, there's rising juniors, rising seniors can also participate in some connection as well. So it's very, it's very similar concept. It's just during the summer and more like teacher support included. It's
Mhm.
more of like a student.
Nice.
Cool, thank you. All right, so that's it, that's all? Okay. Should I take the student representative report off of here? Are you guys just doing Student Voice Committee, or are these two separate reports that you guys would want to give? All right, do you want me to leave both on there or take one of them off? Okay, well then, let me, if there is something that you guys need to talk about that's not student voice, when I send out the email to say if there's anything that needs to go on the agenda, just let me know and I'll put it on the agenda. All right. All right, Friends of Taft. Anything
We
going
are,
on?
we are gonna meet with the PTSA tomorrow on Thursday night, I believe it is. And we're gonna have a meeting to dissolve the PTSA and form the Friends. But right now, we have to go through the procedure of voting to, can't just close up the tent and leave. You gotta do like a whole procedure and stuff. So that's what we're gonna be doing Thursday here at 6:30.
All right. Old business is being addressed. Any new business? All right. We already did public participation. As far as this agenda item for closed session, in case we wanted to talk about the principal evaluation.
You know, I'm okay with it. I appreciate the input on that and take it to heart. So I don't really need to talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Always appreciate the comments.
All right. With that done, then I'm gonna move that we adjourn.
I second.
All right.
That second round, that was.
Ms. Perone.
Okay, so the motion is to adjourn the meeting by Mr. Conley and seconded by Mr. Perone. Ms. Barron, yes, Ms.
You guys.
Baloo, yes, Ms. Butcher,
I did
yes,
talk to you. I did reach out to
Conley,
you.
yes. Ms. Perone, yes, Ms.
I'm
Cobb,
just waiting.
yes, Mr. Connolly,
You know,
Right,
Yeah.
Ms. Sevilla, Yes. Majority Judging.
We said-
Mr.
we-
Porter.
We started.
Mr. Bishop.
Yes. And he
Ms.
said,
Minor.
he said that he's gonna.
Yes.
Mr. Shrine.
Okay. Because you've got your
Unanimous
question.
vote.
All right.
Motion carries the meeting.
10% that
adjourned at
they,
8:12
that
p.m.
basically are waiting.